Okay, another week, more gains to be made. So let's dive straight into altcoins. I'll be covering most of the charts I'm interested in. Again, that's most. And then we'll just dive into that right away. I want to emphasize, check out the Twitter if you didn't just come from there. Then check out the Telegram. I open a trading room on there so you can chat it up with other people that are in the community and you guys can just talk with me as well. I'll be active in the trading room. And then additionally, check out WooX, best exchange, referral link down below. Would love for you guys to use it. Would love for you guys to get those lower fees. Help me out, help Woo out. Well, you don't need to help me out, but you guys, we all gain from it. That's the whole point. Happy times for everybody. Okay, so let's dive into the charts here. What are we looking at? This is Ethereum. We're just going to dive straight into the alt list. There we are. So the way I structured mine, you guys can copy this. If you don't, that's fine too. No hard feelings. I essentially just have my open positions, my movers, good movers, movers, and then potential movers. And I finally have X movers, but I do not pay any attention to this. And to be fair, potential movers also don't pay much attention to it. It's just like an extra watch list. Once I'm like, nothing looks too good, let's see what potential movers is doing. And sometimes these potential movers rotate into good movers. And then good movers rotate back into potential movers or the movers. And reason B, usually this is a different rotation play than what these are. So you'll see some of the things in here happen to be things that rotate together, etc. I think actually here should, I don't know where it is actually. I might have just removed it, but I think Phantom is missing from this entire watch list. Whatever, that is what it is. I'll add it back later. So you can see your potential movers essentially just, Bonk, Pepe, Whiff. This is BSV, isn't it? Yeah. BSV, Pepe, Whiff, Bonk, Popcat, Mog, and Numier. And that's potential movers list. And you can see Numier was a potential mover list and then it moved. And now it's still on the potential mover list because I don't think this will move too hard right now. But yeah, you get the point. That's how I have mine structured. And we're just going to go over these three categories: my movers, good movers, and movers. So my movers is essentially just different from good movers. Good movers are the best movers in the market right now, or were at some point, while my movers is more like they're moving good, but additionally I like a setup on them. So on Pendle, it's in my movers because I liked this setup here. I played this setup somewhere down here, etc. Covered that before. Closed it out. It is what it is. Still a very nice position. So what would I looking for on something like Pendle? Right, I'd be looking essentially for retest of levels down here. So I wouldn't mind seeing something like this coming back into here, consolidating, setting up some type of breakout pattern, and coming back up to these levels. That'd be a preferred position for me. My strategy, I would like to see something like this. WorldCoin, or Woo, actually, my bad. Woo, what am I looking at? This is a beautiful, beautiful setup, to be fair. In my personal opinion, you have a nice pivot point here, right? Pivoted off that again, pivoted off it here, and now we're back there kind of testing it. I have two areas set up. This is my initial area of interest, but this is my preferred area. So I'd prefer this coming down here, stop loss where this line is, and then you have a better RR, and ultimately I think with this VRVP level here, this VWAP level coming in slowly here, by the time we come down here, do this, I think this VRVP level and this VRVP level and this VWAP are gonna have a nice extra level for me to play off of. But this is my initial area. I'm already watching this one closely for it's been a good mover. It's been moving very nicely, and we've had a big dump on it of 12%, giving us a nice opportunity to probably enter this again and see further upside on Woo. Tau. This is in, it's been moving very nicely, 115 from the bottom, but it's still not out of this long-term range, right? It's been in this range essentially since about here, so that's about June, and I don't want to get caught up in the hype of this being like, look at that 115% move. I'd rather see this do something like this, break out of this range, and this is where I'm like, okay, where can this really go? Can this be a kind of big recoverer where it does this and then tires itself out? right? Do I think it's going to do that? To be fair, no. It's pretty high market cap already, and if you look from here to 1200, that's a 4x. Yeah, sure, it could do that, but I'm not particularly trying to position for that. I'm just trying to position for this part of it, right? And then I'll take big partials, leave a runner, and if it does do this, I'm a happy jolly guy. If it doesn't, I'm a happy jolly guy. So that's what I'd be looking for. You know, if it does this or not is kind of indifferent. I'm indifferent to that. I just want to see this part of it, right? Reclaiming that 370 level, once we're here, is where I want to see strength. And I will try to cover all these faster because I think I am yapping. Pyth, I like this setup, right? It essentially just set up this little, well, it just broke down, reclaimed this particular level, played around with that level, and kind of just set up this range. Now, is it really a range or did I imagine it? That's always the question with technical analysis, but whatever, right? Either way, this level is very strong, right? So that's that 2.9 level more or less. Is a very nice level. This top of the range level is relatively strong, but it's not something I am too confident in. And that's with a lot of these top of the range levels, guys, including, I don't know what else I covered, but I know I just covered something. You know, Woo was one of them. This pivot level, sure, we could play off of it. But this level here, much stronger, much preferable to play. Tau, this is a very good level. Actually, it's 300 levels, very good. Pyth, same thing. You want to see it come down to here. This is where all the strength is. This is where that VP is peaking. You know, this is where that VWAP is coming in. This is where that middle of the range is. This is where all this consolidation took place. That is a really good level. And if we do get that level, I'd be happy to take it. 0. Fucking played this from here, closed it here, played it from here, closed it here, and fuck me, right? So I'd be looking for this to come back down here. And to be fair, I don't think it will, because this thing, it always happens with new coins for me. It doesn't quite hit the levels I want it to hit, and then I do not enter it, or I enter and exit it early, or whatever the fuck happens, and it rips up to $7.20 from $3, and I was not in it. So either way, this is kind of the level I'm looking for. Still not the strongest level, but here more or less would be a nice level to see 0 come in. I would say this is also a very nice level. You know, in general, going back in history, all this consolidation kind of took place here. So you kind of want to see, this is just a good pivot point here around 3.7 to be taking a position. We're at 4 right now, but if we do come down there, very nice position to be taking on 0. Okay, AMP. I said this in the last video. I said you could take it from here and, you know, play it to the upside. It ripped from 10% from there. I put it in Telegram channel right over here. I was like, guys, this might rip, you know, might rip up to these levels, might rip much higher, but this is going to give some nice RR. Literally a few hours later, it just ripped up, and over the next day, it did a 12% move just to fucking reverse it. Took out these equal lows. I don't think it took out these quite yet, did it? It did. Took out these equal lows. Took a bunch of liquidity there. And now it's kind of this level where I do not know if I want to play it, but it's giving some opportunities, let's put it that way, right? Kind of setting up this range. I'm sorry, that was not a drawing. Kind of setting up this range here. Actually, we can keep that drawing. Something like this. EQ, bottom of the range, top of the range. See how this plays out. I would love to take a position probably from here, VRVP level. If you want to take a position, this is a good level, VWAP level coming in here too. And yeah, so this might be a nice level to play support, resistance, play all these things. I'm not going to be looking for a position on this quite yet, but this thing rips differently. It's a weird mover. It's heavily manipulated. However you want to play, you know, this is just a 26% candle. This recovery is 50%. This 40%. This move from here after that dump is 32%. It's volatile. See how you want to play this. Good mover. So these things have been moving like consistently good, which is key here, right? Consistently good. This is just a very nice uptrend. You know, Rune has just put in, what is this? You know, 70% with, you know, I entered this here. Unironically, I entered it there and closed it out somewhere here. Sent it to a bunch of people, probably put it in the Telegram channel, etc. So this is not a secret, but I did exit it, so I have nothing to brag about anymore. Yeah, what to say, right? It's just a consistently good mover, right? It's just uptrending. Nice chops, but it's uptrending. And it's a very clean trend. So these are the type of charts you want to continue to play. You know, predictable, good moving, nice. TRX, you know, fuck. Called it. It is what it is. Play it or not. It's been uptrending nicely. But I'm not playing this. Blur, it says my area of interest, really big here. Cool. Yeah, reason for that being, you know, you can always draw order blocks. You can always draw levels. You know, previous month VWAP is here. There's some VRVP levels coming in here. There's some order blocks here. Why not play it as a bounce from here? Could do. I'd prefer something like this coming down here. This would be my area of interest. VWAP is coming in here, and then trade from there. Right? Very simple, but a very strong trender, right? Whatever percentage is put in from the bottom, you know, up to this top, in 90%, it's been doing very nicely. Ultimately, this thing looks like fucking dog shit. So, nothing to be proud of, Blur, but it moved nicely. It's moving nicely in current market conditions. I'm not playing it, but this looks relatively decent. WorldCoin, same as Blur, looks dog shit. Right? Looks better. Well, I don't know if it looks better, but it looks terrible on the higher time frames, but lower time frames. Very nice pivot point here. So you can see this blue line, essentially just a pivot point, right? Pivoted from here, pivoted here, pivoted here, pivoted here. You know, just resistance support. This level is very, very clean. And this is where I'd want to be playing this. Right, worst case scenario, and that's a tough one if you want to enter this position, but you'd want to enter it here, and you know, see a real bottoming structure, and ultimately you're gonna zoom out on the daily, and if this does occur, you're gonna see this entire thing, or probably not that long, but more like this thing, essentially just become this range bottoming structure before we see some type of up move, and who knows, maybe this does take much longer into November, but I'd highly doubt that. Cool beans. TRB, good mover because it fucking scammed up and I was trying to play this for a while, but what to say, right? Essentially, this is a support level right here, right? $70. You know, you can see it. If I drag it out to here, it's the same story, right? This level is key, and we currently just, you know, held on to it back in July, collapsed down into this 48 level, which was this previous support level, you know, set up something strange, some type of bottoming structure that fuck knows what it is, and essentially just recovered that VWAP, ripped up from there, and now we reclaimed this 70 level, which is the area of interest to potentially play again, right? So once you see these reclaims, guys, what's important to remember is you can play it from there, right? So if you see this reclaim, and I don't know what a great example of it is, but here is practically one, right? Essentially, this level has been playing as support previously, right? So this entire time, and I just want you to look at this, right? Here we see this playing as support right here, right? So that's that 80 level. Collapse down, some type of bottoming structure, consolidation under it, and technically seen, once we are over that level, oh my god, fucking dickhead. Technically seen, once we are over that level over here, what the fuck is going on? There you go. Once we are over that level here, you can start playing that as some type of support level, right? And you can see that here, coming into this level, boom, bounce off of it, and all these moves, you know, are 80, you know, 30%, 20%, bounce off of it here, 50%. You know, try to bounce off here, rejection, and that's where this entire support level turns into resistance. Around $80, resistance, collapse down to 40, right? a 50% drop. Coming down here, resistance still at 80, support at 70. This is the range. How do you want to play it? Right, so that range now is sitting from 70 to 80. See how you play this. If this breaks out over this level, it's going to rip, right? So if this does this, you can long it from here. Very easy. I'm giving you so many setups, guys. Go to Woo, go to my Twitter, go to my Telegram, support me. Thanks. Appreciate that, boss. All right. What else to say? Dimensions, or dimension, whatever. I'll just draw something up here, to be fair, because it's kind of obvious. Some of these things are kind of obvious in my opinion, but here, you know, we have this liquidity area, equal lows. This would be a nice sweep, but dimensions is gonna, dim is gonna look fucking stupider and stupider if it keeps doing this shit, because I'm pretty sure those are its lows. You know, you could argue that's a double bottom and that's a good thing. Could argue it's terrible, right? Could argue it's just liquidity and it's going to get grabbed. That's up to you. Whatever your trading strategy is and what you think about this is up to you to think. This is what I'd be looking at, right? 1.6 level. So kind of consolidated here, formed resistance, flipped support, broke down, resistance, flipped. Is it going to be support? Is now the question, right? So this is going to be the question. Will it now be support, and are we going to continue to rip up, fill out this void, and essentially I would say come up to this level here around 3.5, you know, and that'd be about a 2x, 100% play. So I'll just draw that out. The level I'd be looking at for resistance is up here, right? And you could draw it as a line if you prefer, and that'd be right here at 3.5. Why? Because it's doing the same thing this did, right? Consolidation, flip under, you know, lose the level, test it as resistance, try to come back up, test it as resistance, collapse. Doing the same thing here, consolidate this level, break below it, test it as resistance, and here it actually flips it as support, comes back under, tests it as resistance, flips it, and now if you inverse this, and that's what's been happening here, right? Same exact story, flips it. Is it going to come back down using this as resistance? But if you, of course, look at it this way, it's going to be support. So nice long, you know, potentially 3.6. That's going to be a good, you know, 120% move. So see for yourself what you think. Beautiful. Tough luck, buddy. You know, prison, no funsies, and could be longing this, you know, could be longing for recovery, some type of jail sentence news, some type of no jail sentence news, some type of, you know, whatever you want. So you could be playing this. I ain't playing it. Too risque for me. So we're going to leave that out. Big time was a very nice trender here, you know, trended up 30%, was very clean, outperformed the market on the spaghetti charts. So essentially would look for it to continue to do that, right? You could even argue it's setting up some type of pennant here, you know. I wouldn't really be looking for that, but could be looking for something like that. I'd rather be looking at the trend. Unfortunately, the trend is, you know, higher high, lower high, and then luckily we're setting all these, you know, higher lows. So let's draw it from here. Essentially, you know, look for this VWAP level, diagonal support. If you want to see it that way, then that's your prerogative to do. But see how you can play this. You know, I'd be interested around this level, you know, where this VWAP is coming in, where this diagonal support is coming in, and where potentially these order blocks are coming in. And yeah, that should cover that level, you know. So yeah, this is around the level 0.078. That's a beautiful level to potentially play here for big time. Ondo, you know, it did absolutely nothing. It's done jack shit, and that's a good thing or it's a bad thing, right? Attention is not on Ondo right now, and just see some type of, that's what I'm trying to draw out here, right? Some type of range, some type of bottoming structure. If it continues to consolidate here, that's perfectly fine. Once it breaks out, this is where you want to play it, right? Simple as that. Very fucking simple, guys. You know, very simple. What it's doing right now, and that's something I'll explain to you briefly, is it's doing the same thing I was just outlining for dimensions, or for dimension, or for dim, or whatever the fuck it is, right? This is its previous support level. This is where it consolidated a shit ton, right? If you zoom out on Ondo, this is its key point of control, right? Except for whatever the fuck this is, which is just spot accumulation, right? This is such like insane amount of volume that essentially just traded here, and you can see it now that this little shit is gone. This level is key, and I'll just draw it out as an order block or something, right? This is the key level. Arguably, this is the bottom of that level, right? Which means what it's doing right now is it's facing this not as resistance or support, but it's merely what I would say it's playing with that area. And what's key to understand is if you look at VRVP here, right, and you look at where this is coming in, this key point of control, it's going to be right here at 0.8, right? And if I draw a line right at that VRVP point of control level, it seems to be that it's facing the VRVP as resistance, right? And I'm going to delete this, and you're just looking at this chart, right? You'd say, okay, if this is the VRVP level right here at 0.8, you know, then it's facing it as resistance, and you could say that. But generally, I'd be saying this entire area is being played with right now, you know, just like that. You know, that might be a bit broad, but let's say just like that. This is the area played. This is the new line in the sand, and it hasn't lost or held it at this point. It's merely playing with it and testing what market participants are thinking about this coin and what they want to do. This could turn out to do this and form a TIA pattern. You know, Celestia's doing this. Or it could just say, nah, there is demand for this. BlackRock just said they love it again, and it rips up. And here's the TIA pattern, right? The one I was just talking about. Well, not quite the same concept, but you understand that TIA, you know, played around with levels, and it just couldn't hold them, broke down, you know. Here's another one of those levels, played with it, broke down, and now you want to see this round out. So do we see it round out? Who knows? Lower time frame, what I'd be looking for is not much. Some type of trend to form. Right now there's no trend at all. It's just kind of chopping it up, but there's not even a real range, you know. So it's a tough one to play. You know, you could argue it's bottom of the range, something like top of the range, and then EQ. You know, you could say this. That'd be fine. My opinion. You know, if you want to play like this, it's just not going to be playable. That's all. I'd prefer to see it come back down to here, flip this level, and come back up here, see strength, flip this, and that's when I'd say, okay, that's been an accumulation range, that's been the bottoming pattern, and now we see some type of rounding out like this before we come up, right? Perfect, that'd be nice. But essentially on TIA, we're still waiting for reclaims, waiting for interaction with these levels at 6 and 7.5. ADA is also on the list for some reason. I know it was strong at some point, but this thing does not look like I want it on my list whatsoever. So that's gonna fucking not even be covered. Metis, I remember this was really strong. How would you want to play this? Not sure. Up to you. But this level, this interesting level, and that's about it, right? Ultimately, this top of the range, or not top of the range, but this top of the move here is going to be an interesting level of $50 to see how it interacts. So that could either be, you know, come up into it, flip it, off to the races, or that could be, you know, we chop it up here, come up to this, you know, see some type of weak test, breakout, boom, nothing, and this thing just continues to die and go to hell. Either one, bless with me as long as I make money. That covers practically all the altcoins for this video. Been a bit of a long one, but you know, you get whatever. This is, you know, 30 fucking setups, so smile on your face, smile on my face. Trade responsibly. Don't just blindly take these setups. Use it with your own trading strategy. Everything I just said is just like the most basic TA I could fucking spit out. to give you guys some type of setup, some type of alpha. But this is not like, there's been 0 points in this entire video where I disclose my trading strategy. So when I say that looks good or that looks shit, that's based on what I know in my head is my trading strategy. None of you guys know quite my trading strategy, because to some degree I've kept it like relatively gate kept, exactly what I do and how I trade, how I think about the markets. So not how I think about the markets, but so this is just purely TA, and I want to disclose that. Perfect. So check out WooX, check out the Telegram. If you want to ask any questions, the Telegram trade room is open for questions. It's open for discussion with other traders that are in there. And there's a bunch of people that have been following me for years. So just toss questions in there. Just chat it up. Would be a pleasure to talk to you guys. And follow the Twitter. Please support the Twitter more. We need some better interaction on that shit. And I appreciate you guys as always. Thank you guys. Trade responsibly and have a good fucking week.